All right, we are live. Welcome to Fins Talk today on the new Fins Talk Network. If you haven't yet, go like and subscribe to the channel for, of course, your weekly Dolphins content, some great content. As always, I'm Bobby, your host, and that's Fish Tank Hank sitting right there. Hank, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Bobby. The schedule came out. It's given me time to digest the fact that we're going to be playing on Christmas. Well, everybody is, but I really like who we're playing, and I like how it worked out where we're ready to roll, and the team's getting ready, and I'm just getting excited. I'm a little early excited though, but I'm also kind of like, man, would the season already get here? But you know, it's always
Absolutely.
like that for me in the off season. I always want
Well,
the game to be going.
I know why you love that Christmas game and you're excited. It's not because it's on Christmas, because you're going to be there on Christmas to watch that game. You're going to get to see
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. So I'm excited for you. I can't wait. Evan, it's so good to see you. Chris, as always, Evan, we missed you, man. We noticed when you weren't there. I was actually going to message you, and I'm sorry I forgot. I meant to message you, see how you were doing. I'm glad you're there, my friend. Um,
What's
but
up,
look,
Chris?
it's
What's up, Evan?
as always. Hey, it's the draft is over. The schedule is out. You got the training camps going to start soon. It's a little quiet in regards of Miami, except for the Dolphins did make a late offseason addition, Hank. They signed, they added to their already very good defense. And, they signed three-time Pro Bowl linebacker, pass rusher Melvin Ingram, formerly of the Chiefs. And I believe he played for the Steelers. He played on two teams last season, but a veteran pass rusher adds to an already very good defense. If Miami could be what they were last year at the end of the year, the elite defense that they were, I can't see any flaw in this. What are you thinking about this new pass rusher for the Miami Dolphins?
I was surprised. I was surprised because, Miami's done nothing but get young, get young, get young. And Ingram to me was a little older. I'm not saying that he can't play, not saying that, he doesn't bring a nice presence to the locker room with it, being a veteran, a quality veteran. I was just surprised at the move because they had drafted Tyndall, and I thought they were going to draft. I believe his name was Chanel.
Leo
Uh,
Chanel?
yes, and that's who I thought they were going to take when the time came to pick because I liked Chanel over Tyndall. But, you know, uh, I'm just a little surprised, like I said, because he's a little older and Miami's done nothing but get young, get young, get young. So I was, that was my only surprise. But when you bring in a veteran like Ingram, you're also getting a lot of qualities that you need for some of these young players too. So it's just a matter of what you want, and I'm kind of neutral about the signing, to be honest with you. How about you,
That's
Bobby?
fair. Well, I love this signing. I'll be honest with you. What's up, Steve? Good to see you, brother. I think it's great. And as Evan just pointed out, he just took the word right out of my mouth. I think it's a great rotational piece. This guy's a veteran. Yeah, you're talking about young, and you're absolutely right. And this is not like some old guy to fill a starter spot. This is an older player, a veteran, a very decent, very good player a veteran presence on your defense who provides depth and can help a young player like Channing Tindall. Even though he's a third round pick, this kid is projected possibly be a starter for Miami. So you add a veteran presence with Agba, Xavier Howard, and a defense that was already good at the end of the season last year, 7-game run. I think this just adds to that, and I honestly, I like the move. Let me just read off how he did last season. They don't jump out to you, the numbers, but they're decent enough, especially for Miami. 25 total tackles. That's 12 solo, 13 assists, 2 sacks, one forced fumble, and one pass deflected. Um, so for you add that to Miami's defense, Miami needs something like that. And I actually think that picks up because when you have good defensive players like Agba, like Phillips, Howard, etc. That gives time for the pass rusher to get to the quarterback. So these numbers might jump up, and it's definitely going to help players like Tyndall, Phillips, and Akpa to get more sacks as well to make more pressure on defense. So I understand where you're coming from. You're not wrong, but I think it's the veteran presence. And like Evan's stating there in the comments, it's a rotational piece, and I think it's a great rotational piece and depth, as Steve is saying. You probably play 20, 30% of the time, absolutely. But I think with quality time as well. Man, I just love what Miami is doing. I was having this conversation the other day with Ralph, and the one thing I'll say about this team, Hank, is I know everybody's excited about the roster, as they should be. The Dolphins won the offseason. You look on paper, and this roster is sexy, but we've done that before. Miami has won the offseason before. You think of Mike Wallace, Brandon Marshall, Sue. I mean, you can go through the list of guys that we signed through the years, and we're going, oh, this is the team. Let me tell you the difference between this team and the teams prior is the coaching staff. The way this coaching staff has carried itself, the way they talk about teaching and molding the playbook to the roster, and it's not like they're trying to be smarter than everybody else. It's about molding the game plan. Like, we know they're going to run that Shanahan-type offense that Mike Shanahan ran and his son Kyle ran. We know that. However, like McDaniel has said, and same thing that Kyle Shanahan does with McVay and et cetera, they mold around the players they got. But it's all about teaching. And that's why, I'm not really concerned with some of the flaws that we still see in this roster, like the offensive line. We have question marks. A linebacker, we might have a question mark. Because I truly trust right now the coaching staff. And like some of the viewers that have been watching us forever, my coach, when we fired Flores, I wanted a veteran coach. Why did I want a veteran coach? Because I couldn't trust a first-timer anymore because I didn't know what type of staff he was going to make or build. And McDaniel, everybody was on that train. I wasn't, just because of the hiring. I didn't know what staff he was put together. Until I started doing research and how much I saw he was loved and people respected him, I started getting more comfortable. But now, post McDaniel hire and looking at this coaching staff, let me tell you something. I'm more excited about this coaching staff than I am about the roster, and that's saying something. What do you think about right now that it's post-free agency, post-draft, post-schedule, more about this coaching staff? I know I'm throwing this on you, but I know you got an opinion on it. What are you thinking about the coaching staff right now?
I love the coaching staff, and like I said before, if we didn't get a veteran coach, I wanted McD the whole way if we didn't get a veteran coach.
You did say that.
And he is as smart and as sharp as I thought he was, based upon how much people like him and talk about him. And as far as, players coming in and, who we got and who we don't and depth, I just want to touch on that real quick. Our defensive end. That's where we need depth, is that defensive end. We don't have any. But I still like I said, I like the Ingram pick. It doesn't make me jump out of my seat, but I mean, I like the fact that we have a quality player and you can depend on them, like Steve had said, for like 30% of the snaps or whatever, which is more than enough. Especially the packages that Miami will be putting in and out, rushing the quarterback and trying to get after the run. So I like the move. But like I said,
I will say you got a point. And I will say, though, the one thing about Ingram is he could play both positions. This is what I love about Miami's roster right now. You could look at the receivers unit. You could look at the linebackers, especially Melvin Ingram right now, even the offensive line. There's so much position flexibility on this football team. Everybody talks about Debo because we got McDaniel. Oh, this guy could be Debo. This guy could be Debo. These guys are going to be them. But let me tell you that Waddle, Hill, Bowden, these guys, and even the receiver we drafted, Eric Exima, all these guys could play that role. We look at the running backs, and we they just signed Sony Michel, but you go, man, the running back room, it's nice, but it's okay, but it doesn't jump out at you. But those are not their only running backs. A lot of these receivers are going to be playing these type of roles. That's what's exciting. And the offensive line, you have guys that could play left guard, center, tackle, go back to guard. There's so much flexibility. And then even Melvin Ingram, he started at linebacker. He's played at edge rusher. So that's why I love the sign, because of depth. And you're right, but I think Ingram could play that spot as well. Excuse me. I'm looking here. People are talking about J.C. Tretter, the center. So we're going to talk about that right now. That's actually our next topic, is that the rumor, I believe it was Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald had posted this here, that the Dolphins, that J.C. Tretter, I believe TD and Finch Talk had said that the Dolphins, he got it from his, and he posted there, a message between him and J.C. Tretter's father, because he was like, hey, sign with the Dolphins, and Tretter said, the Dolphins haven't offered anything. So, and people, I know a lot of people really want that veteran center. And I know there's been, you hear about the knees and you hear about this, but the Dolphins might not be looking at getting a center, because they may already have that center on the roster. And I'm not talking about Michael Dieter. The Dolphins signed Dallas guard Connor Williams, left guard. So everybody projects him as the left starting guard for the Dolphins. Terran Armstead, Connor Williams, the center is a question mark unless you start Dieter, Robert Hunt, and whoever is the remaining guy at the right side with Jackson and Eichenberg. However, the rumor is that the Dolphins want Connor Williams to compete with Michael Dieter at center. And I had to do some research because I never knew he did play center. So I went back, Hank, and I did learn that Connor Williams did have some reps at center for Dallas during the preseason last year, and he did take practice reps at center for depth reasons, to be the backup center in case something goes down. So he does have very minimal experience. So my question to you, first off, what are you thinking about this rumor with Connor Williams starting at center? I'll let you start with that first, and then I got the follow-up. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, we all have questions about Dieter to begin with. So we all question that, and everybody's talking, like you said, I'm looking right here, talking about Tretter. What's up there, Hammer Time? And, I think that I think it's a good move. But if you do that, then you have no choice. You got to move people around. And I wasn't sure if we were getting into that, but I guess we are.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was my follow-up for you. If Connor Williams is moved to center, how would you move around the offensive line? Who would be your left guard and who would be your right tackle?
I think because they've been working with Jackson to be the right tackle, I'd leave him where he's at, and I'd take Eichenberg and put him at left guard. That's what I would do. So
Miami's offensive line going to this season, according to you, if center is Connor Williams, it's Terran Armstead, Eichenberg. That's a big left side. That's strength and power right there, because Eichenberg's like 6'7". The dude's huge. And then you got Connor Williams, who I agree with Evan, that he's going to get less penalties at center, because he was the 14th ranked guard last season, but he also had 11th ranked guard and 11th penalties, the most for a guard. He will take less penalties at center. Right guard, you'd have Robert Hunt remain, and then right tackle would be Austin Jackson.
Yeah. And I like that because which side does Tua roll out to? Rolls out to his left. Rolls out to his left. His left side's protected. I like it.
All right. For me, first off, I like the idea of him competing with Dieter, because I trust the coaching staff to know what they're doing. This guy's had some reps. I don't know if it's an upgrade currently. I do know he's a pretty damn good guard, 11th ranked in the league, despite the penalties. So at center, I know he struggled a little bit last preseason, but that's because he's never played it before. But with this coaching staff, if they feel confident, I'm fine with that, especially adding competition to Dieter. Dieter might rise up and play well with competition, and then that's okay, because then you put this guy back at guard. But for the crazy instance that Connor Williams is the center for the Miami Dolphins, Terran Armstead is your left tackle. Right guard is Robert Hunt. But left guard for me, I'm going to be different. I'm going to put Austin Jackson back at that spot, and I'll tell you why. Because he's familiar with it now. He's familiar with that left side, and I trust the coaching staff to train him right. Because you remember last year I told you it was never about people go, oh, we need to add to the offensive line, and we need to add and to me, it wasn't about investment in the offensive line. It was about training, coaching that offensive line. And Miami, to me, failed that. That was Flores' biggest flaw. I will say that to the top. It wasn't, the quote unquote what he did to Tua and all that. It was about putting the right guys in place to get the best out of your players. I can't say that about McDaniel right now because to me, he's hired the best guys. Frank Smith, offensive line coach and offensive coordinator of the Chargers. Applebaum out of Boston College. Embry out of San Francisco. You got Mike McDaniel himself. So I think Austin Jackson is your left guard if that's the case, in my opinion. Right guard is Robert Hunt. Right tackle, for me, it's not automated Eichenberg. I'm going to tell people now, don't sleep on the kid we got out of Arizona State, the undrafted free agent, Kellen Deach. I'm going to tell you why. Him and his buddy there, who was a favorite of Hank and myself, and Hank had a mock to Miami, Donovan West, both signed guaranteed contracts with their teams. San Francisco for West, Miami, and for Kellen Deach. So to me, it's between the kid out of Arizona State and Liam Eichenberg at right tackle. To me, that's your offensive line. So I'm going to ask you guys who are watching right now, whether you're watching live, which we always appreciate, or even post-show, and we thank you still. Don't forget to like and subscribe right now to the channel. We appreciate you for weekly Dolphins content, good Dolphins content, great Dolphins content. But right now in the comments, whether you're watching live or afterwards, what would be your ideal offensive line? And what would be your offensive line if Connor Williams starts at center? Eichenberg has experience at tackle. Put him on the right side. That's what I'm saying. It's between him or Kellen Deach, but I wouldn't sleep on it because it is a guaranteed.
Wait a minute. You keep throwing Jackson out of there. Jackson's still a possibility.
Not in my scenario. He is for yours. To me, I move him to left guard. I'm only talking about two guys on right side. Come on, big guy. But Hammer Time, what's up, brother?
What's up, Hammer Time? What's up, Mama? I don't know if it's a brother or a mama.
Which one?
Hammer Time.
Oh, Hammer Time, got you.
Are you stereotyping Hammer Time?
I am not. Let's see. Evan got it up on there right away. Armstead, Jackson, Williams, Hunt, and Eichenberg. So
yeah, he's with you.
He's with me. And then Jackson all day long, right tackle, Hammer Time. So I assume that's what he's saying, or Hammer Time is saying. But yeah, so this is my thing. With this roster right now, I'm not really worried. If they want to start Connor Williams at center, I know some people don't find that sexy or anything like that. If he plays good at guard, he's a duel at center. He did struggle at center, but I trust this staff just like I trust him with Jackson, who struggled since being drafted in the first round, just like I trust him with Eichenberg, who struggled last season. I believe these guys are going to get the best out of it. And the one thing I'll say about this offensive line, remember, Hank, before the offseason, it was reported, ESPN, there was two conflicting reports. I think one guy was NFL.com, the other one was ESPN. One guy in the NFL.com said Dolphins are going to revamp their offensive line. They're going to rebuild it. The other one said, no, Dolphins aren't really worried about their offensive line. They're more worried about their receiver room. And after this offseason, I think ESPN got it right, because if I look at both positions, I look at the receiver room and I go, oh, yeah, that is totally changed. And it looks so much better. Where the offensive line, it's Connor Williams, Armstead, and the undrafted free agent. So, and I think the reason, and I'm not really worried about it. I was worried last year because you and I both, we discussed it before the season last season, that the only question mark with this roster, which ended up being more, but was the offensive line. And ended up being right. The offensive line really killed us in the end. But this offseason, I don't feel that way because, like I said last year, and go back and watch those episodes, guys, I said it wasn't about the investment. It was about the development of this team. And the development sucked. The coaching staff was horrible with training these kids. And I think that this offensive line coach and this team here, Hank, are going to do so much right. And I think we're going to see a way better version of this offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction, they were like, what, 32, 31, I think? They were there. They were at the end. I say they go up into the high 20s. At least. I'm going to say the 20s. What are you doing? Thumbs
Teens.
up. You agree? You agree?
Teens.
Teens? What teens? You have them up in the
In the
teens?
teens instead of 20, like 13, 15, in the teens.
Woo! Wow.
I see
What do you guys
Miami's
think?
offense being a top 10 offense.
I think they have the start. I think they have the power to do it. I think they have the coaching staff to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
The
Evan has lucky number
reason
13.
why I know is because everybody else shoots down to it, which is fine with me. The kid can throw the ball 50 yards. I've watched plenty of tape on him. He can throw the ball 50 yards. Hello? That's a deep pass, folks. Unless you can jump out on the field and throw it 50 yards, most average people cannot throw the ball 50 yards. So, with that said, the kid can throw the ball 50 yards, and with the players that he now has around him, and like you said, the offensive line, I still have questions about the offensive line stopping the run and stopping the running quarterback. Until Miami can show that they can do those three things, we got troubles. Because last year we got eaten up by the run and the running quarterback, just like always. And then, of course, the offensive line was Swiss cheese. Now, is moving these players around and keeping the same players within, 2/3 of the players, keeping the same players and moving them around within the line. Is that going to work by this coaching all of a sudden is going to change those players to a degree that they're better than they were before? Yes, that's very possible. It's very possible, especially when the schemes are harder. They're different. I watched an interview with Kellen. What'd you say his last name was? Deitch? Kellen Deitch?
I think, yeah, Kellen Deitch. One of those two.
Deitch, okay. Deitch, whatever his last name is. I watched with him, and he said there's a lot more complexity in the way that they run the offense, and there's a lot more going on because I watched a little side clip on him. And I liked him also. He was one of my other choices out there late as a draft pick too. I was surprised he didn't go in the 4th or the 5th. So the fact that we have him, that's definitely a nice upgrade as depth goes. We'll at least have some upgrade at our depth, if nothing else, if he doesn't pan out. Like you said, they might put him at right tackle. I'd be surprised if they do. I just believe it's going to be Jackson over there at right tackle. I don't know why. I just have that feeling he's going to be over there. And that's it, Bobby. What else?
Well, I'll just read a couple here. The people, Chris and Evan, seem to agree with you. Evan has them in the 13s. Chris, I believe, has them in the 18s. Hammer time. Let me check out Hammer time. I think Hammer time setting Jones, thinking on it. Robert Jones. Interesting. I will say this, because you said what you were still worried with this roster. Stopping the run, offensive line, and I think that's all justified and absolutely true. I will say that, again, when I look at this roster and this coaching staff, I'm not really that worried. I would be okay with adding a couple pieces, maybe a big D tackle. I don't know if I know people are talking about center. I think Miami's comfortable at center. I think they're comfortable with their line right now, just because, if they get somebody, I don't think it will be J.C. Treader. I don't think they're interested in him. I think it's something with the injury or something. But I will say, Evan,
Chris.
just kidding.
You tell him.
Come on, Chris. Come on, Evan. Sorry, we can see you guys' comments there. But anyway, I will say this, and I've said to Ralph, "Hey, Ralphie boy." I will say this. It's like I told Ralph, when I look at this roster, and again, you have very valid points, because we were talking linebacker before the draft. Dolphins did linebacker. We talked about the secondary, and that reminds me, I do want to talk about that eventually, is what that ESPN piece talked about our secondary, saying that we don't have a good secondary. Best player is Eric Rowe. Tell me you don't know what the hell you're talking about when you say something like that. Tell me you don't know football when you without telling me that, and you did. But I will say this. even with the flaws, center, et cetera, I trust his coaching staff, just like I trust him with the quarterback. I will say that when I look at this roster, the only thing I say that I would say, and it can't be answered it could be answered this season and make me comfortable, is that, again, when I look at it, this team is really a quarterback away from being a legitimate playoff contender. And I'm not saying Tua can't be that. I'm not saying that because, I'm just saying that that's, to me, when I look at it with my eyes, because I trust this staff to get the best out of the players, and that includes Tua. That I say, man, if Tua could be the quarterback we all hope he can be, 5th overall pick, the guy he was at Alabama, and they won the championship and all that whatnot. If he could be that guy, and again, he doesn't have to be great. I know somebody wrote on Twitter, there was, these Tua stands, you got Tua haters. Come on, dude. There was one guy they were saying on there, I didn't get his name, but he said, Tua sucks. He's like Chad Pennington. That doesn't suck to me. I told you, Hank, during the season, remember I said, to me, his ceiling right now, unless, of course, he can, because Chad Pennington was another one who had a good arm in college, got hurt. Of course, it was his shoulder, and he couldn't throw deep. So he had to rely on being a game manager, a pocket passer, and a game manager and an accurate passer. And he ended up being one of the most accurate quarterbacks in history. My thing is, if Tua could be that, and of course, if he exceeds that, that's great. But that's what we really need, just to do enough to win games, be consistent, be good enough, win football games, don't cost us the game. If you say Chad Pennington,
I don't think there's only one or two games that I've watched that he's cost us the game. He hasn't really cost us a game yet, in my opinion. Only a couple games where he just really stunk it up. And that was the wet ball game where he couldn't hang on to it and couldn't throw it past his feet. And I don't know what happened that game. That game just blew my mind, to be honest with you. I didn't think he'd be that bad in the weather. But
everybody has their day. But the thing is, what I'm saying is that this is the year. I really think. There's no real, and I don't mean to say it in a way to make it sound like there's no excuse. But again, I think because the way this offense is built, the way the coaching staff is behind him, Tua should have a very good year this year. And I'm not saying people want to say big numbers and all this. It's not about big numbers. It's about, again, I know you made a good point about costing the game, but not costing the game, winning the football game, protecting the football, and having, of course, you have to have time to deliver it. I think the new coach staff to give the offensive line that teaching, to give the quarterback that time. Again, and when I look at this roster, it's a quarterback away. And he could be that guy. He could grow into that guy. And I do feel confident that he could do it because there's no real reason why he can't. Tyreek, Jalen, Cedric Wilson, Eric Azima, the running back core with Chase Edmonds and Gaskin and Michelle and the Raheem Mostert, who I think is dealing with an injury. Gaskin. The offensive line. There's no reason why this kid can have a big year this year or to prove, hey, look, I was worth that 5th overall pick. There should be no question I'm worth it. No more arguing. No more civil war with the Miami Dolphin fans. This is our quarterback. If that happens. But, and again, if he doesn't, we have insurance. And that's fine too. It's a good time to be a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, I don't see any downside either way.
Ingold, that's my slip. That's right. Ingold is the one I said would have the biggest impact this year because of the running game. Thank you, Evan. He will be a sleeper. I agree with you. And then Evan also said that he believes Holland will be a Pro Bowler. I agree. I think Holland and don't sleep on McKinley making the roster as well, his buddy from Oregon. What about the general from Oregon who played with Holland? That's McKinley. I think he has a chance to make this roster. I'm surprised. This draft was so weird. And I don't want people going, oh, they're talking about undrafted free agents. These guys are trash. These guys should have been drafted. This draft was so weird because there was no, it was just an odd draft. So many good players, some crazy players. I don't want to say bad because I liked them, like Cole Strange. That was a 3rd round ranked pick who got picked in the 1st round by the Patriots, where guys in the 1st round that were supposed to be picked in the 1st round made it to the 3rd round. So like the Titans, they got great value with Malik Willis in the 3rd round. So, they got a kid that can grow, and if he sucks, it doesn't matter. He was picked in the 3rd round. It's not like with Miami, you got 2 and you drafted in the 5th overall pick.
Yeah.
You got this kid in the 3rd round. So it's just a weird draft. So that's why I think Kellen Deach from Arizona State has a strong chance not only to make the roster, but to start, in my opinion. And McKinley, I think, has a very good chance to make the roster. Evan says predictions. Dolphins. People have the Dolphins at 8.5 wins. Take that bet easy.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Evan,
Yep.
that was our show on Thursday. We discussed it. Of course, we have a better chance to examine the roster, and as we get closer to the season towards the preseason, we'll do another prediction because we'll be a little more familiar with the rosters. But we discussed about our initial reactions to the schedule, and so our quick predictions. I had it 13-4 for Miami. And I know it sounds homerish, and of course, once you go back and look at it, and Mr. Hank had 13-3-1, one tie going to the Patriots.
No, going to the Bills.
The Bills. I'm sorry, Buffalo. That's what I meant. My bad, Buffalo. So we're right there with you. I mean, Evan, what are you thinking? And Chris, Hammer Time? What are you guys all thinking about the schedule for Miami? Do you have any early predictions?
How many wins, folks? Tell us how many wins out there.
And we'll close this out as we get those answers in. I watched it. Oh, my bad, Evan. Calm down. All right, buddy. I know you did. Miss Fins. Love Miss Fins. Her program is awesome. You guys got to go follow Miss Fins on YouTube. She's been our guest before. 12-5. Oh, okay, Evan and Chris. 12-5. I like it. All right. 13 for Hammer Time. So he's right with me. Very cool. Very cool. But yeah,
what do you mean with you? You mean with me?
I said 13 wins.
So did I.
13 wins. All right, with us.
But wait, you tell me I'm always a homer, and you have the same amount of wins I do.
Well, you're the one who couldn't give the Buffalo Bills a win. You had to give them a tie.
Hey, I just picked them as I saw them. All right? And I saw the Bills tie in Miami at home because I don't see them beating them at home. So rather than me be unrealistic, I gave them a tie.
Miss Fins, homer me, 12-5, undefeated. Stop it, Ralph. Ralph says undefeated. That's a homer. Talk about a homer. There's Raphael Verdessa at Hialeah going homer. Come on, man. And realistic 10-7. I think that's fair. I think that's low end. I think it's low end, but I think it's fair. 12-5.
That could be the low end, but I think 14 could be the high.
Low end is 13 for you, huh?
No, low end is 10. I'll take 10. Okay. 10 to 14 is usually 12, right? Split it.
Yeah.
So, I just believe one more game than what most people think because it seems like it's averaging out to about 12. So, I don't know. I'm not that big of a homer.
Yeah. Miss Fins, look at my super homer. 15-2. Miss Fins. Look what she's doing. She's just hyping you up. I will say this. Here to the end here, Mr. Hank. Guys, this is Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Network. Brand new channel. Please like and subscribe. And again, all you guys know this. All of you have been on the show, but the ones who have been on here. If you want to be on the show, find us on Twitter. You got Fins to Win for Hank, Bobby Fins Talk for me, and the Fins Talk Network on Twitter for the show, for both shows, Overtime and Fins Talk today. And let us know. We'd love to have you on. Let me tell you about the guest that we're going to have on Thursday night with me and Brett on Overtime. TD Fins Talk. So I'm very excited. Now, you want to talk about Tua haters, Tua lovers, whatever. There's the guy that stirs the pot with Tua. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So if you want to catch that episode, please like and subscribe. Follow the show. Of course, me and Hank will be here every Monday night and sometimes in between, especially now that it's on our own network. And then, of course, Fins Talk Overtime every Thursday, all at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Miss Fins, Ralph, Chris, Evan, Hammer Time, Steve, everyone tuning in during the show, after the show. As always, we thank you, and we will see you. Well, I'll see you on Thursday, and me and Hank will see you on Monday. Fins up.
Fins up.